Hello, my name is Jorge Carvalho and I am a student at the University of Minho, Portugal. So today I'm going to present a paper entitled Traction and Charging Systems for an Electric Motorcycle. This presentation is divided in various sections. I'll start by giving a brief contextualization on electric mobility, then I will present the general motorcycle topologies. Afterwards, the respective computational simulations are shown. Then is proceeded to the hardware implementation, and finally the experimental results of the topologies presented, as well as some conclusions. Nowadays, due to climate change resulting from CO2 emissions into the atmosphere, most countries have sought solutions to reduce energy consumption and at the same time use cleaner energy. With this, society is facing a paradigm shift in mobility, that is, the electrification of mobility. Electric mobility is one of the technological areas with more investment in research and development and is expected to receive $255 billion in funding globally by 2023, according to Euroelectric.org. This paper is focused on lower power vehicles, in particular electric motorcycles. Electric motorcycles, in comparison with internal combustion analogs, have the advantage of a cheaper and cleaner energy source, greater response times, and the ability to return energy back to the batteries through regenerative braking. With this, the framework of this paper is the development of essential parts that are present in any type of electric vehicle, traction and battery charging systems. The proposed topology is based on two power converters for the respective traction and charging systems, with a battery between both, as seen in the figure. The traction system consists of the electric motor and the respective power converter that controls it and transitions between motoring and braking modes through a hand accelerator or brake that is an interface with the user. The charging system is connected to the power grid and is composed in the first stage by an AC-DC converter that regulates the DC link voltage, and in the second stage a converter that controls the battery charging. For the traction system is opted for a full bridge or H-bridge with 4 contralateral semiconductors, IGBTs, was chosen. The figure shows the equivalent model of a brushed DC motor with a resistance, inductance, and the induced electromotive force, and it's powered by the battery, as seen in the figure. The control applied was the torque control. The input of the torque control is a reference current specified by the user via a hand accelerator. The torque is directly proportional to the current. That's why we control both the current and the torque. Each combination of IGBTs in operation corresponds to a different mode of operation, containing in total 4 modes: motoring and regenerative braking, in both directions, forward and reverse. For the charging system, in the first stage of the AC-DC converter, it is opted to use a PFC boost to regulate the DC link voltage, as seen in the image in green, and eliminate grid current harmonics so that the system absorbs a sinusoidal current with the lowest harmonic distortion possible. With the DC link voltage stable, it is activated the second stage, where a buck converter controls the battery charging current. In this control, a reference current is specified by the user in order to either charge faster or slower. In this section, I present the computational simulations of the topologies presented, in particular here, the traction system. Initially, the traction system was tested with 72 volts fixed DC voltage supply, which is a nominal voltage of the motor. In the adjacent table are present the reference currents over 4 time intervals in order to simulate the user input. Positive current means positive torque, meaning torque in forward direction, and negative current means acceleration in the reverse direction. In the top figure I presented the motor current in red that follows the reference current present in the table, as you can see, as well as the motor induced voltage that is correlated with speed. And we can see the voltage induced variations. Below is shown the respective modes of operations from 1 to 4, where 1 and 2 correspond to motoring and braking, and in modes 3 and 4 represent the same modes, reverse motoring and reverse braking, for the inverse direction. Here I present the torque and speed waveforms, which are similar to the waveforms presented in the last slide. Below is shown the torque generated by the motor and the load torque, which was varied throughout the simulation in such a way that the load, mechanical load, was contrary to the torque generated by the motor. Although there are two instants between 0.85 seconds and 1 second and 1 second to 1.15 seconds, in which the mechanical load helps the vehicle accelerate or brake, or rather it acts in the same direction of the motor torque. This can be compared to a vehicle braking uphill or accelerating downhill, resulting on greater speed variations. To validate to test regenerative braking, the equivalent battery model was used. In the top figure is shown the motor current and induced voltage, where is simulated acceleration and braking during 4 alternated intervals to test charge and discharge. Below is the battery voltage waveform that correlates to its charge. And as we can see, the speed of charge and discharge of the battery depends on the absolute value of the current. At the first instant, for example, with the current of 140 amps, a faster discharge of the battery is observed than at the third instant with a current of 115 amps. The same is visible during regenerative braking. It is presented the simulations of the first stage of the AC-DC converter, which is DC link regulation. DC link regulation is divided in 3 phases. The first phase is pre-charge, where there is no active control and the DC link charges up to peak grid voltage. During this period, a bypass resistor is used to lower the in-rush currents that occur due to the capacitive nature of the system. When the DC link voltage reaches a certain value, is made bypass to the resistor and is activated the PFC control algorithm. And as we can see, the grid current during regulation is sinusoidal and with low harmonic content. And the DC link voltage tracks the voltage reference set by the control, which is in this case 400 volts. In order to validate the charging current control, it is given two current references of 20 amps and 10 amps, as seen on the top figure in blue and red waveforms. And the red waveform is the battery current. And as we can see, the battery current follows the reference. Below is presented the battery charge, which shows greater charging rate when the current value is higher. We can see faster charging and slower charging depending on the current value, right? With the computer simulations and theory validated, we move on to the hardware implementation. This figure shows the mapping of the control and power systems and the respective interactions. Each rectangle corresponds to a different printed cardboard, and the central part of the control system is the digital signal controller, the DSC, that processes the control algorithms. The hardware developed for this work in particular are the control PCB, and the charging system powered PCB. The remaining hardware was assembled or reutilized from the JEP laboratory, such as the command board. The command board provides an interface between the DSC and the driver circuits for the H-bridge semiconductors. In addition, a digital to analog board is used to monitor internal variables of the DSC through the oscilloscope. Here is presented the control PCB developed, which has circuits for error processing that disables the converters in case of voltage or current anomalies, signal conditioning for the sensors outputs that are given to the DSC, the driver circuits for the charger converters to semiconductors, which are two outputs for the two semiconductors, and on the bottom are present the connections to the sensors and other boards such as the DSC and supplies and so on, enables, reset signals and so on. Here is presented the developed charger system power board with a connection to the power grid. In the bottom is a heatsink with the semiconductors, 4 diodes for the full bridge, 2 diodes and 2 IGBTs for the boost and buck converters. In the center are the capacitors for the DC link, as well as voltage and current sensors, and that's it. And also on the top supply inputs and sensor outputs. Here is the developed H-bridge converter for the traction system. The main structure is a heatsink, where in the front are the driver circuits for the IGBTs that are fixed on the top side. It is also used a capacitor bank between the power supply and the converter. You can also see in red and black the copper bars for the connections. In this figure is shown the control and power boards for the traction system after the whole assembly, where you can see the control board, the DSC board, and at the input of the converter an additional capacitor bank of 10 microfarads that is connected to the power supply, meaning it's between the power supply and the converter. Right? Here is presented the motor utilized, which is a brushed motor, a brushed DC motor with rated electric power, voltage and current of 15 kilowatts, 72 volts and 200 amps, as well as a rated torque and speed of 39 Newton meter and 3000 RPMs. In the bottom figure we can see the speed sensor for the torque control, which is necessary, fixed on the bottom of the motor to measure its speed. In this figure is shown the test bench, where the motor is coupled to a mechanical brake that applies a load in order to test real conditions. This mechanical brake has a potentiometer which can regulate the mechanical load applied to the motor. Moving on to the experimental tests and results, it started with the AC-DC converter and the PFC control. As we can see, the DC link voltage, in blue, is regulated to its reference value, which is 40 volts for these conditions, with 100 Hz ripple, which is normal, as well as a relatively low THD grid current, represented in green. In the bottom figure is measured the grid current THD relative to the fundamental wave, which is 5.26%, which is acceptable. For the second stage, the charging system was validated using a resistive load of 13 ohms and a reference current of 1 amp. And as you can see in the top figure, the DC link voltage remains stable at 40 volts. And in green is shown the battery current with the same value as the reference. In purple is the battery voltage. The two images below correspond to the waveforms of 1 and 2 amps test references, respectively. In the first figure is shown the battery current in green with the PWM signal in yellow, with a duty cycle of 40%. And on the second test for 2 amps reference, the battery follows its reference, right? There's in green it's 2 amps, and the PWM duty cycle of 80%. For the traction system experimental tests, it is used the fixed DC power supply and the accelerator to input reference current variations, represented in purple in the waveforms. Observing the results, it's possible to see that the induced voltage in yellow rises with the increase of motor current, represented in green, during motoring mode and in regenerative mode, modes 1 and 2. The motor current is negative during regenerative braking, right? The motor current is negative, which means energy return. During regenerative braking, the energy is not returned to the battery, which was not used. It was used a fixed power supply, but instead to the capacitive bank that I referred before, between the power supply and the converter. Since it has high enough capacitance, it was able to absorb energy during braking, and therefore validating the regenerative braking. With this project, it was possible to validate in general the topology proposed for the motorcycle. For the traction system, it was possible to validate in simulation and experimentally the converter and the respective control techniques, namely the torque control using an accelerator with user interface. Regarding the charger, it was possible to a certain extent to validate the compensation of harmonics of the grid current, the regulation of voltage on the DC link, and the control of charging current. Regarding the development of the control and power PCBs for the charger, it was possible to validate their correct implementation and sizing of the respective components, and also the assembly of the prototypes and the hardware in general. I hereby finish my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.